reason the U.S. is different from, let's say, Australia or England in its gun ability to enact good gun legislation is because of our history of slavery, the Civil War, and Civil Rights era. Mm-hmm. And the case of the Black Panthers is a perfect example. I mean, you had Martin Luther King, a massive nonviolent movement that moved across faith, moved across the race line, solidarity that was very effective. You had an incident in Oakland, and that's set off the reaction of white rifle owners. It played into the hands, justified gun rights language. And I think that what you saw in the early days of the militia, certainly during slavery in the South, where state militias were used to keep the slave system intact. And when you look at the George Wingate, who was the founder of the NRA, he was a officer in the New York militia. And the reason he founded the organization was because he saw really the poor use of rifles, disciplined use of rifles within the militia. And at that point, it was a voluntary militia. And that in terms of urban problems like the Orange riots in New York City, which were between Protestants and Catholics. And so, the militia was a place by the 19th century where volunteer soldiers performed what they considered their civic duty. And it's kind of an irony that that the NRA would disavow George Wingate's history, which really is about the militia. And the militia was used, of course, politically in very ineffective and prejudicial ways in the United States. Its history, if you read the history of the militia, either as a obligated militia early on or a voluntary militia as it evolved in the 19th century. And, of course, this is what we have as our National Guard. Yes. So, the Second Amendment, to me, even within the NRA, if you look at the early magazines, it was about the militia. And, of course, you have officers. You have a chain of command. You have particular weapons that can and can't be used. You have training. This is all when you got up later, like Harlan Carter and the Cincinnati Revolt, and then are in the 70s. His language was, forget that. I'm a militia person. Without being part of a militia person, I'm an enforcer. I'm, the good guy.
A civil rights fighter.
Yeah, right. I'm the Crime Stopper. I'm the Patriot. He called it a Patriot Army.